Hi, it's Ian, the Freedom Astrologer here. And in this somewhat short video, I'm going to discuss and speak a little about Mercury Retrograde. So there's a lot of opinions out there about Mercury Retrograde and what it is and what it's not, and how annoying it is and how many problems it causes actually. And I'm going to give a bit of a different kind of perspective on it. Because at first, when I actually even learned about Mercury retrograde and what retrograde periods of planets are and what they mean and what they bring, I had a very similar experience, and always a lot of stuff broke down, a lot of details got confused, a lot of miscommunications and stuff like that. Only that part of Mercury retrograde was very, very obvious to me and very evident, and I could see it in my own life and I can see it in other people's lives and, organizations and stuff like that. So I was a bit annoyed with Mercury retrograde, to be quite honest with you. But as time went on and I learned a lot more about Mercury itself, and I learned a lot more about retrograde periods, and I started observing more deeply this phenomenon of retrograde, and especially Mercury retrograde. And what I figured out and what I observed really thoroughly was that during Mercury retrograde especially, a lot of information comes your way. A lot of valuable information, a lot of interesting information, and information gets exchanged as well. And what I also started noticing was the ideas themselves. So during Mercury retrograde, what it actually means is the planet Mercury of the mind and information and ideas is very close to planet Earth, and it brings a focus of that energy to our everyday lives. That's basically what it means in my view, actually. And experience and testing it out as well. I think this is really important with it. And what I started noticing was the amount of very, very good ideas coming during Mercury retrograde, and very useful ideas, connecting dots between things. That's very planet Mercury. And I started seeing the big focus, or a very big focus on this, especially during Mercury retrograde. And the more I started noticing it, the more ideas started coming. And this piece is really important to start. If you, after this video, you watch it and you start noticing during Mercury retrograde periods that ideas come your way, write them down. This is really important. Write them down, because most often you don't have the capacity or time to take action on those ideas during Mercury retrograde, because there's so much information going on, exchanges, and there's definitely some of those annoying bits and pieces to take care of as well. But this part for me was huge to realize, and what started happening right now we're coming out of Mercury retrograde. This is one big part why I'm even recording this video, and I really started waiting for Mercury retrogrades, because I knew, okay, Mercury retrograde is right around the corner. I'm going to get a lot of more ideas. My mind is going to be you know, connecting with the planet Mercury, if you want to go down that route, and getting those ideas, getting that information, then cycling it through in my head and shifting through the information in my head, and then coming, let's say, coming out with your own perspective on those ideas. And after this, I was like, oh, okay, there's some good, you know, there's some good in Mercury retrograde, and this is, I think, the gist of this video. Like, there's actually a lot of good in and during Mercury retrograde periods, if you know where to look and how to use the energy of Mercury. And I gotta say, one of the reasons I titled this video Falling in Love with Mercury Retrograde is because I started really falling in love with it and anticipating and waiting, and it's not all that bad. It's really good as well. And I think on that note I would like to end. And if you have any questions about Mercury Retrograde and what it is, write them in the comments below, and see you next time.